going on, guys? Dad Dash here, coming to you with another video today. Wanted to talk to you, another from the road video, and I want to talk to you guys today about a very important topic because I just got done today watching the RideshareRodeo. Steve from RideshareRodeo put on a town hall meeting today, and I was very happy to hear what was being discussed because it is exactly what I've been discussing on this channel to a degree. But I think that when you apply what I've been discussing on this channel, it helps everybody understand things. So there's two things that I want to address. One, the drivers who are truly disconnected from how this thing works, and that's evident because you see the drivers stand up there and they make their case, right? And then you see the politicians or the politician, she was a former driver, so she had a better idea of exactly how they're attacking it. But essentially the problem that everything like what they're trying to do there, having town halls, bringing drivers in, the main problem, the main driving factor that we have as a community when we try to approach these issues and say, all right, we're trying to solve these issues and make them better, the main problem we run into is of course we try to approach it from a humanity standpoint, and we try to talk about the stories of how our community is being affected and how a driver is being hurt because of the way these apps operate. And while all of that's true, and yes, there are drivers out there being hurt, and yes, there are impoverished drivers by larger numbers than there are rich drivers or even people that are making it, and by a large number, most drivers fall out or go to ultra part-time and go back into finding other means to make money. And there's a reason for that. And that reason is because the way the drivers are going to approach things, it's not going to make sense. And if you approach the gig world like an employee, like you're working for the apps, they're going to eat you alive, spit you out, and you're going to be done with the apps one way or another within a short period of time. And you're going to go, it's impossible to make money. It's impossible to deal with the tricks that they're playing. It's impossible to deal with the things they're doing. And you're just going to be left frustrated, screaming, hollering, talking about the injustice of these apps and feeling like they just don't listen. And that's because the argument that's going to be made every single time, and it's an argument that I've got into with other people, including people within my family circle, which says we don't care about the human problems that are being caused by these apps. We don't care about the suffering a driver might go through because of one thing: the choice to use these apps to make money and support yourself. Because it's not something that's being forced upon us, because it's currently not the main mode of earning. And again, there's a threat, an existential threat that's coming, that this could be coming to a job near you where you have an AI overlord that's governing your work and governing how you work, but that's not there yet. And again, as many people, if it's not affecting you, you don't care. And the way they see it is, well, you have a choice to not do this. And by choosing to get involved, you're feeding the beast, so to speak, the very beast that you're complaining about. So go find another job. That's your goal. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's what the apps are counting on. So what ends up happening is every single time we try to take a humanity perspective, you bring them before Congress, you bring them before a state House of Representatives, and you say, testify and tell us the experience you've had. And everyone goes, wow, that's really terrible. Wow, that's horrible that you're out there running your car into the ground. And every single opponent and every single person that works for the app is going to come back and kick that right out. And why are they going to kick it out? Because they're going to tell you, you have a choice. You have a choice to be there. So you cannot approach this from a humanity standpoint. You cannot approach this and do it the traditional political way where you go, okay, look at the horrors that this is causing. Because it's going to be thrown out the moment somebody says, wait a minute, aren't you choosing this? And then everybody's going to go, yeah, okay. And that's going to resonate, make sense with a lot of people. And then people are going to turn it off and go, okay, now You look stupid. Oh, you're choosing these things. So why haven't you made a difference? Oh, that's on you as the driver. And every single person's going to look at that. And then you're going to get the societal pressure, the pressure from maybe a family member or friends who are going to go, dude, get out of it. Or, friend, get out of it. Look, as a friend, get out of this. Go down to McDonald's, apply, go down to Walmart, apply. So-and-so's hiring. Why would you even mess with this? So how do we approach it? How do we win this discussion? Well, the way we win this is we have to approach it the way I'm telling you and the way I've taken it. And that is, we approach it through the only means that we can say is they are holding out. They're holding themselves out as a technology platform. They are saying we aren't employers. Okay, great. You don't have to be employers. But what they do need to do is they need to follow the TOS. And what we need to do is say, listen, the issue isn't, hey, we need to be employees because they're trying to subvert it. The issue is they're not following their own agreements, and there's no oversight. There is no oversight. And what I liked about it was today when they were talking about what was going on in Colorado is that they have and again, off the top of my head, I was driving, I wasn't taking notes. So there's a board or somewhere that they have that handles transportation. And they were talking about this in terms of commons. In other words, in terms of society overall is affected by these apps and these drivers driving around in an unregulated fashion in your local community, potentially wrecking into somebody, potentially not handling food properly and getting people sick. I mean, there's so many things that you could get in there. It's a public policy issue that says you can't have unregulated business people running around willy-nilly in your local community. And that is a problem. And that's the way we have to approach it. That's the way we get people's attention, to say, wait a minute, hold on, this isn't about the suffering. This is about the fact that these businesses say there is a market here. And what they're doing is they're laying out agreements, and no one's paying attention to say, hey, how do we make sure that these businesses are following the very agreements that they're signing with their drivers, and that they are treating the drivers and the businesses, and that everybody's fairly transacting and making sure that the customers are protected, making sure that these platforms are dealing with businesses who have proper regulations, proper procedures, proper things. This is the approach. Now, a lot of drivers aren't going to like it, right? Because they're going to say, well, wait a minute. And the apps are going to reframe that and say, hey, they're going to take your job. They're going to make it harder for you. But the very strategy that has to occur is there needs to be a barrier of entry. Barrier of entry is a key component to making this thing work and to correcting a lot of the things that we drivers, the people out here involved in this, dealing with this every single day, see. You create a barrier of entry, oversaturation goes away. You create a barrier of entry, a regulatory structure that helps to regulate the commerce in the common areas of our society, to protect society from businesses that are, and not just the businesses of Uber and DoorDash and Grubhub, but the businesses, the very businesses, us as drivers. We are each a unregulated business, commercial business, driving down your street on our phones, having orders flying to us. We're trying to meet guidelines within the apps, creating hazards that, hey, this family driving down the road on their way to the store, on their way on vacation, has no idea that all of a sudden there's a Uber driver riding down the road trying to get to a drop-off real fast, and boom, we have a problem. Or this person doesn't have the proper bags because there's no one there making sure they do, because all you do is take a picture And does that say you're using it? Does that say you know what you're supposed to do? Is there proper procedure in handling that food? Are the restaurants making sure that that food is sitting at a proper temperature while it's waiting for the driver? No, there's no one regulating this. So what we need to be focused on is creating the barrier of entry, creating that structure that allows drivers to be recognized for what they are as businesses. That requires then that a proper structure be in place to ensure the safety of the community and the driver and the businesses by requiring that drivers register as businesses in whatever framework and limited framework that is. Clearly, the current framework in business structure of regular businesses is not what we need, but we need an overhauling of that. And it would be helpful, because this is a national issue, that some sort, potentially this could be handled nationally or it could be handled at state level, but there's got to be some sort of framework to handle this. And at that point, the driver registers, the driver gets licensed to handle the food or groceries or whatever it is they're doing. The stores are licensed to do all this. Now, here's the thing you might say, well, no one's going to agree to this. The stores won't participate then. Well, again, barrier to entry. If the stores don't want to properly do this, if the drivers don't want to properly do this, if the apps don't want to properly make sure that all of these things are being done, then maybe it shouldn't exist. And maybe in communities, they will have to decide, hey, is this what we want or not? Is this important enough to my business to do these things? Is it yes or no? And these apps will be forced to come out of the darkness. They will be forced to come in and say, how do you ensure the safety of your drivers when you're presenting them with a contract? And it's not, we present it while you're driving down the road to look at the legal contract and all the terms and conditions of that contract. No, it means you're utilizing the ability to know if a car's in motion. You're utilizing that part of their phone. They're pulled over, offer comes, they look at the offer, and they say, boom, 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 boom. Again, the oversaturation issue falls. The driver will be in a position to make a decision, is this worth my time? And yes, there's going to be a whole slew of people that would see this video and say, absolutely not, Dash. This would kill the industry. Well, maybe it does kill the industry. But I think the industry itself is getting killed right now with the way it's structured, with the way that our money, the driver's money, the money that we're supposed to be making, is sitting in the hands of these apps. And they are blindly, without any insight from the driver, without any negotiation with the driver, deciding on their take. And their take sometimes, it absolutely is a larger amount than it should be, and larger amount than the represented labor that they have involved in the deal, than what they've brought into the deal. And that is the main problem. And I heard that today where they were talking about it, where she said, hey, and I like it because she said, listen, how much of our labor are we willing to give? And that's the question. How much are we willing to give to these apps? So what we have to do is, unfortunately, because it's coming to the surface, people are paying attention. People are involved now. People that the apps didn't count on have gotten involved, have started looking at things. We've got to have the right discussions. We've got to make the right arguments. We've got to bring forth the right discussion regarding what we need and what these apps are. And the right discussion, okay, the right conversation is, these apps are holding drivers' monies. They are not employers. They will never be employers because they are acting on behalf of these businesses, us, the drivers. And they are then blindly deciding how much money they're going to take. And that is a problem. That is a real problem because they should not be allowed to do that. They should not be allowed to take 70, 80, 90, 95% of a driver's earnings and not have properly negotiated that. That should never happen. It should never occur. There should absolutely be a framework. There should be an agreement. There should be a justified fee structure laying out exactly what the apps are providing and exactly what that cost is to the driver. And it should be reflected as a percentage of the deal. And there's a reason why a percentage of the deal is the way to do it. And that's because what it does is it incentivizes the apps to produce more for us, to make more for them, which they are trying to avoid. Now, they want us to make more, and then they just collect it all. They confiscate it all. But we have to fight back against that. Because what really should be happening is, instead of us getting surges and us getting contests and us having to complete 50 to get $100 or to get $1,000 or whatever many trips they might lay out and whatever contest they're laying out, it's all backwards. Because the drivers should be paying the incentive to them, because we're paying them. They're holding our money back, holding your contest with our money and saying, okay, we're willing to, if you do so much, we'll return a percentage of what we've taken from you back to you. That's what's going on. And if this doesn't fire you drivers up out there, if this doesn't get you people out there fired up and ready to go, get on the phone with your legislator, talk to them about it. What we need is transparency. What we need, true transparency, is a true reflection of the cost of the services that they are charging us for, so that we can fairly negotiate with them and we can look at a deal and they can say, okay, this deal is going to gross your business X amount of dollars. We are going to charge you X amount after charges, fees, etc. This is what you will be left. This is how much you're going to bring in. Is it worth your time? And is it worth your time to deliver this? And that's it. Yes, no, and move on. And do it in a safe way. And make sure you're using drivers who can do things in a safe way for their community and a safe way for their customers. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave you here at that. As always, stay safe, stay profitable, and DoorDash will talk to you soon.